Robert Baratheon inherited a treasury overflowing with gold. 15 years later, the crown owed more than 6 million dragons, and not even the king's own council could say exactly who held the debt. This is how the wealthiest throne in the world went bankrupt, and why the real power in Westeros almost never belonged to whoever was holding the sword. Start with the money. Aegon the Conqueror melted the 7 kingdoms into one coinage: the gold dragon, the silver stag, and copper in 3 sizes. Yet across 5,000 pages, George Martin never once prints an exchange rate. The famous 210 stags to a dragon is not from the novels. It comes from a licensed role-playing game, which makes it handy, not gospel. So picture the value another way. In the Hedge Knight, 3 gold dragons keep a common man comfortable for a year, and a plain suit of plate runs 800 silver stags. Then Ned Stark reaches court and finds the Hands Tournament giving away 90,000 dragons in prizes. One afternoon of jousting cost enough coin to feed 30,000 small folk for a year. Now kill a myth. The crown does not grow rich off Lannister gold. Casterly Rock belongs to House Lannister, and its mines fill House Lannister's vaults, not the king's. When Tywin's gold reaches King's Landing, it arrives wearing a very different name: debt. The throne's real income looks almost modern. It taxes trade. Every ship that unloads at King's Landing, the busiest port in the 7 kingdoms, pays a duty collected by the Master of Coin. Add the tolls, the harbor fees, and the rents of the crown lands, and you have a government that runs on commerce, not on treasure. Which is why book readers wince when the show has Tywin announce that the mines have run dry. On the page, the gold veins beneath Casterly Rock have barely been scratched. But coin was never the deepest wealth in Westeros. Food was. The Reach is the most fertile and most heavily populated part of the continent, and in a world where one winter can last for years, a full granary outranks a full vault. Watch what Mace Tyrell does during the War of the 5 Kings. He never marches on King's Landing. He closes the Roseroad and lets the capital starve, until bread riots do the fighting for him. The moment House Tyrell switches sides, food floods back into the city in hundreds of wagons. No siege engine in Westeros ever worked as well as a block supply road. Holding this whole system upright was one man: Peter Baelish. As Master of Coin, Littlefinger grew the crown's revenues to 10 times what they had been under the man before him. Tyrion, auditing the books in A Clash of Kings, works out how. Baelish did not simply collect taxes. He borrowed against them and put the money to work, buying grain when it was cheap and selling bread when it was dear, owning the ships and the warehouses and the brothels, and installing his own people in 9 of every 10 offices that touched a single coin. Littlefinger's gold, Tyrion realizes, is made from thin air. It was clever. It was also a house of cards, because rising revenue and rising debt are not the same thing, and only one of them ever comes due. When Ned Stark finally reads those ledgers, the figure is staggering. The crown owes more than 6 million gold dragons. About half of it, 3 million, is owed to House Lannister, the family the king married into. The rest is scattered across the faith: House Tyrell, a cartel of Tyroshi merchants, and the Iron Bank of Braavos. Here, honesty matters more than a clean graphic. That neat breakdown you have seen, 3 million to the Lannisters, 2 to the bank, 1 to the faith, does not appear anywhere in the books. Only the Lannister 3 million is ever confirmed, along with a later debt of nearly 1 million to the faith. Every other number is a blank the text never fills. And the blank is the story. This is a government keeping no honest accounts, running on trust it has already spent. That last creditor is the most dangerous of them all. The Iron Bank began with 23 Braavosi hiding their valuables in an abandoned iron mine. It grew into the closest thing this world has to a superpower, and it has never fielded an army. Its weapon is money. Miss a payment, and the bank sends no soldiers. It calls in every loan across your kingdom at once and refuses new credit, so your own lords and merchants feel the squeeze and start asking whether you are worth backing. If you still will not pay, the bank finds someone who will. In the novels, it reaches quietly towards Stannis, offering to fund the throne you can no longer afford. As the Braavosi say, the Iron Bank will always have its due. And over all of it looms winter. Not the White Walkers, the bill. Now winters can last years, and gold cannot be eaten. Survival is storage, granaries, salted meat, and the glass gardens of Winterfell, warmed by hot springs beneath colored glass. A lord's true wealth in winter is not his vault. It is how many months of food he has stored. When the roads freeze and the stores run dry, coin becomes a claim on food that simply is not there. In the worst winters, the old men go hunting and do not come back. So who truly holds power in Westeros? In the throne room, gold buys loyalty. In trade, credit multiplies gold. In war, logistics outrank both. And in winter, stored grain outranks everything. Tywin Lannister could be the richest man alive while his king went bankrupt, because private wealth was never public solvency. Gold wins courts, grain wins winters, and credit can win thrones. This has been Raven Lore, where every legend has a balance sheet. Subscribe, and next we'll follow the men who kept the books, every master of coin, and how they spent a kingdom,